As always, everybody, welcome to the Open Source Entrepreneur. I'm Casey Green. This is my beloved co-host, Jimmy Norlander, who is infinitely cooler and way more well-traveled than I am at this point in the ballgame, at least up and down the Wasatch Front. But we are really excited to have Jimmy on with us tonight. Thank you, Jimmy, for carving out some time amongst growing your business. For those of you who don't know, Jimmy had a banner year last year. We bragged on him earlier in the year on the podcast about his tremendous growth that he's seen, pushing up over the coveted 7-figure mark, which is exciting. And this year, even more exponential growth is headed Jimmy's way. So we're super excited for that for Jimmy. Jimmy, this is a conversation that I've been dying to have. I will get into the nuts and bolts in just a minute about our guest, but just know that this is one that I've been sitting on for a minute, waiting for the right time. And I felt recently that this is the right time to bring on this guest, and you're going to find out why in just a minute. But before we do that, Jimmy, you know what's coming. We got to go take it or leave it.
Take it or leave
We're
it.
going to start the episode off strong with take it or leave it. This is an intriguing thing that's popped up over the last week and a half, really. And it has to deal a little bit with biohacking. Let me read this down. I don't know if you've heard this story, but let me read this to you. There has been, this is from a CNN article, and it's been kind of all over the internet, all over the socials. There is a species of wolf that died out some 12,500 years ago that is living again as the world's first successfully de-extincted animal, according to a Dallas-based biotech company, Colossal Biosciences. Colossal scientists have created 3 dire wolf pups using ancient DNA, cloning, and gene editing technology to alter the genes of gray wolves, the prehistoric dire wolf's closest living relative, the company announced on Monday. How are you feeling about this? We are now like in the Jurassic Park era where we are bringing back animals from extinction.
I don't think they saw Jurassic Park 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. And so, I mean, it's pretty awesome that we can do that. With that being said, I mean, I guess time will tell. Is it better just to leave things off dead?
It is a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope. For me, it's one of those things. I'm gonna leave it. That like those went extinct for a reason, and I don't know that we need to be bringing back any weird gene mutations or any weird things like that. That is gonna yeah, Jurassic Park. Life finds a way. This is gonna be terrible. So for me,
What good comes? I know they're talking about, it'll bring all these things back, the environment, how it used to be, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of let's test out 13,000 extinct creature just to see what happens.
no, I agree. It is a slippery slope. Um, okay.
But let me ask you this: they're talking about doing the dodo bird and maybe the mammoth. So are you good for like any animal that you can bring back? Would you take it or leave it?
No, I think the animals that are supposed to be here are here right now. I think the other ones went extinct for a reason, and there's no need to meddle. Like unless there's an insanely cute one that we can bring back that's like cuddly and ready to roll. But yeah, if we're talking mammoths, it's gonna mess with the whole ecosystem. Like this is not a good thing. Like very rarely is it a good thing when we bring back animals from extinction.
Yeah, and do you know what they say? History repeats itself. Watch Jurassic Park; it does not turn out too well.
No, it doesn't. Not even a little bit. All right, Jimmy. So you're leaving it?
I'm leaving it.
Me too. Agreed. All right. This is the next thing is our quote of the week. This is one that I really resonated with. I heard it earlier today, actually. And when I heard it, I was like, oh man, I got to talk to Jimmy about this. Not only from a business perspective, but from a goal setting, a personal progress perspective as well. And so I'd really love your take, Jimmy, on this quote. It's from Rob Dial Jr. At least that's who I heard it from. Whether it's attributed to him or not, he doesn't actually quote it, so I'm assuming it's from, or he doesn't give a resource. I'm assuming it's from here. He says, just because it's taking time, does not mean it's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, if we want something to happen, it doesn't happen overnight. I mean, look at people's weight loss journey, building a business, whatever it might be. If you want to get somewhere, it takes time, it takes work, it takes failure, but biggest thing is time.
Yeah, I agree. It is one of those things that I think it's easy as an entrepreneur to say it's not happening and to give up. I would be intrigued, and I hope someday at some point in time we get to see how close everybody actually was to achieving their dreams or achieving their goals. Because I do believe that frequently we are so close and life just beats on us and beats on us. And we can't take one more failure in a specific realm before we just really throw our hands up and say, I can't do this anymore. And we give up and we walk away. And our reality, we're just on the other side of that becoming a reality. I mean, Jimmy, when you started growing your business, I anticipate that you weren't like, you know what, I'm going to open up in St. George and it was super easy. I'm going to open in Idaho and it's super easy, right? This is a grind.
I was just happy to get it took me 6 months to get my first client, and I was just happy to get one at the time.
Yeah,
Like this, and it's funny is I think that's why those pyramid schemes don't work out a whole lot because people want to do the get rich quick type stuff. They're not willing to put that time and effort in to get where they want to be. It's like, oh, hey, if I have my friend, and friend, I'm going to be rich because 2% of the people that do it are.
yeah.
Yeah, they're not willing to take that time to really grow and strengthen what they want.
Well, and it goes back to a topic that you and I discussed a little bit last week. I frequently on social media, or as you're looking at and playing the comparison game, which, by the way, comparison is a thief of joy. But as people are playing the comparison game, you're looking at potentially somebody else's best versus your worst, or somebody else's best versus where you're at now. And that is not a fair comparison to make. It's not a fair comparison to make in business, socially, professionally. None of this is okay. I have multiple employees on my team who I've got 18 years of experience on them in the marketing realm. And just because they're not understanding the same thing the same way I am, doesn't mean that they're a bad employee. It just means they get to learn a little bit. They have to learn, they have to stretch their wings and figure out how to do things. And so I frequently think my employees are always just right there on their next level that they're going to grab.
Yeah, and it just takes that time.
Yeah, agreed. Well, I am. They must still be logging on, Jimmy. But I am super excited to talk to them today. Let me give you a little bit of background about who this is about. Well, I don't want to spoil too much. Jimmy, I'm gonna throw just a little bit of a curveball at you on this one. Talk to me a little bit about some of because you're up in Idaho right now. You're trying to grow Deseret Counseling from what is basically a stronghold up and down the Wasatch Front, down south to St. George, and now up to Idaho. And I know there's future plans involved even farther south of St. George. But talk to me about the importance of always going out and finding the next step for your business. How do you stop from being complacent in what you're doing?
Oh, do I don't even know if I have an answer to that one. If you would have told me 13 years ago, hey, Jimmy, you're going to have, that seven-figure business that 1 year, you're going to have 4 locations, 15 therapists, I would have laughed. But I don't, I think it's to be good at what you do, you just can't be complacent just in one place. If you want to grow, especially in therapy where it's like a very competitive world, especially now after COVID, you have to think outside the box and just look at different locations that want you. But I don't know. Being complacent, I can't see myself stopping either. So it's just as long as I have control of it, keep on growing. Like, yeah, I can't see myself just stopping and be like, all right, I'm satisfied with where I'm at.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I love the hustle that you have. People know this. You and I have the opportunity to chat almost every morning when you're not traveling. We're at the gym. I always make sure I talk to Jimmy
Or
on
I
my way
slept in
out.
the other day.
Yeah, well, we won't tell people that, but it's an absolutely fascinating thing to dive into Jimmy's brain, see how he operates, how he works. This is a gentleman who is on the treadmill, walking and going through business things. I think I was walking past you last week. You're like, "Hey, have you heard of this company? I'm thinking about using them for X, Y, or Z." And just really cool the way that your brain is working, the way that you're moving. Um, but Jimmy, I am super excited. Our guest is here.
We're ready.
Jacqueline is here. I'm going to pull her on, but as I'm pulling her on, I want to talk to you a little bit about who she is. So let me read down the bio for Jacqueline and for E3 Energy Cubes. Hopefully she's seeing our invite and logging on. Okay, she is. Jacqueline!
Hey, Jacqueline.
Hello. So, Jacqueline, I was just about to read your bio and tell people how absolutely amazing you are. Guys, listen to this. Today, this is Jacqueline Smith. We're talking to her. She is the founder of E3 Energy and someone who's on a mission to fix what's broken in the protein bar aisle. And we'll talk about that in just a second. E3's bars are made with real ingredients, actually taste good. Yep, I know that sometimes that seems like a misnomer, impossible. They taste amazing, and it comes convenient in 3 cubes, which is why, Jimmy, during this conversation, we have to be very cognizant not to call them energy bars. They're energy cubes, and that's one of their key marketing features. So we need to make sure we lean into that really heavy for them. But really, what that does is it makes it easy for portioning and really just a mindless thing to go ahead and put in your mouth and make sure you're staying healthy. You'll find them in the fridge aisle, not the pantry, because Jacqueline is giving the cold shoulder to dry, chalky health bars that feel more like a chore than a snack. We're so excited to dig in to see how she built E3 from the ground up. Jimmy, this is Jacqueline Smith. Jacqueline, welcome to the Open Source
Oh,
Entrepreneur.
thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here. I'm
Oh, we
really
are absolutely
excited.
fascinated.
How do
And
I
I
see
was
you
so,
guys? I can only see myself, and that's lame. So, how do I
oh,
see you guys?
I don't know. I've never actually been on that side of it, but I can see you and you look amazing.
Yeah, I
Oh,
can see you
well, thank you.
also.
Okay. Well, it's kind of weird because I was seeing you before, and then as soon as I jumped in, you guys
You
disappeared.
disappeared? Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to fix it. We'll have a beautiful conversation anyway. You can hear our
Okay.
voices. I don't know if
That's
there's a way to
awesome.
change the settings on that. Jimmy, do you know? I don't know.
I don't. Are there anything, Jacqueline, or anything up top where you can look at and just switch your picture?
Um,
Maybe the 3 dots up top. Guys, this is one of my
yeah,
favorite
it's
things
fine.
about being
We'll not
live. You
worry
never
about
know
it.
what's gonna happen.
It's all good. We'll just go.
Let me try this and let's see
Okay.
if you get disconnected, join again, but maybe that will
Okay.
change your view.
See, see,
No, still the
Jacqueline,
same?
Nothing changed.
you're getting what everyone else wants. They don't want to see us.
Yeah.
So
Well,
This
I
is
don't know if they
basically,
really want to see me either, but that's okay. Thank
This
you.
is a
well, you're
huge
the
blessing for
guest.
you. So,
All
so
right.
let's, man, I have been so intrigued. I worked with Jacqueline's daughter Jameson, which is how I came across Energy Cubes. I worked with Jameson for multiple years. Super talented graphic designer and marketer in her own right. And she introduced me to Jacqueline. Is actually probably close to a year ago, where we got to sit down and have a really amazing conversation about what the next level for Energy Cubes look like.
Yeah.
They were just kind of hitting that hockey stick phase of growth in their company. She said, okay, how do we get more into the market? How do we keep progressing and making sure we get a stronghold in the health industry? And it was a beautiful conversation. And Jacqueline, what I'm doing now is making Jimmy jealous because I'm holding up 3 energy cubes that you guys can find darn near anywhere. Like
Yeah.
you guys are in a lot of stores right now, which is super amazing. We'll get into like the if, ands, or buts, but Jacqueline, tell us people like right away because people should run and get these. Of course, they can get them from your website, but also, guys, they're available like 7-Eleven, Walmart, I think in Macy's. Tell me where people can find these, Jacqueline.
I think we lost her,
Oh, did we lose her? Oh no, we'll get her back. Let's try again. Do 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 do.
and it goes back to two scary faces again.
2 scary faces.
There she
Okay.
is.
So
Now,
somehow I got kicked off.
yeah,
So here I am again.
it was probably us. It was
Oh,
probably. Hey,
I don't
don't you
think
worry.
so,
This is one of the beautiful things about Alive is
but I
Jimmy
can
and
hear
I
you.
just
So
pretend
that's
like we
good.
know what we're doing, but we have no idea.
So you can find these in the refrigerated section. We're in most of the AFS stores here in the Salt Lake Valley.
What
So
is
if
an
you
AFS?
So that's Associated Foods. So like
Okay.
Macy's, Fresh Markets. We're even in Lucky's down here, and we're in a lot of the holiday gas stations.
Okay.
So you can find us in a lot of places. All those little local grocery stores that are owned by individuals instead of owned by a giant corporation. You
But
can
even
find
giant.
us in the fridge. Usually it's in the dairy case, but sometimes we're in like a front refrigerated grab and go section too.
Yeah, even giant corporations. You're in Walmart.
Yeah, we are right now. That's true. I don't know if we'll stay there, to be honest. Mostly because it's just not quite our demographic. We have
Yeah.
such a high quality product, and we just tend to see more of a high end buyer. Not that high end buyers don't shop at Walmart, but we're really trying to push ourselves more to that natural channel.
Clearly high-end buyers because I have 3 of them sitting right in front of me. I have tried, I think, almost all of the flavors except for this one. Jimmy, I was going to bring some down to you tonight. I don't know if people can see this. I'm actually going to hold up what it looks like. So this is a peanut
Oh,
butter and jelly energy cube. So they are like a 1 inch by 1 inch square. I'm going to make y'all jealous. I'm going to try it. Guys, it's as advertised. They're so
Which
freaking
flavor
good.
is that?
Peanut butter and jelly.
Oh, it tastes just like a peanut butter and jam sandwich. I kid you not.
Just like it. Peanut butter and jam. I
Hmm.
said jelly. Peanut butter and jam. You're right. Tastes
Yeah.
just like it.
Well,
Um,
we call it PB&J the healthy way.
Heck yeah, people enjoy the healthy way. What I really want to dive into, because this is such a unique concept, Jacqueline, you came up with, is how did this get started? How did this brainchild go from something that you were like, you know what, to where it is today?
As this is an entrepreneurial channel, I think that's the thing that I've always been. I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always looked for ways to start a company or, you know, help create inside of a company. And my husband owns a plumbing contracting company that we started together when we first, when we first got married. He decided to become a plumber, and then we moved on to our own thing. And so I've done accounting all of my life.
Oh,
And then it was kind of a crazy story because I was doing some accounting work for another woman who had a great product. I loved it, loved it, loved it. Really wanted to buy her company, but it just didn't work out. And she ended up closing her doors, and we ended up coming up with an entirely different product altogether. But I loved the concept of healthy and taste good. And
yeah,
so I went around, I bought protein bars from every single walk on the planet. I think I bought every protein bar on the market. And if you go into Harmon's, there's that shelf stable section that's just like gigantic, and
ginormous.
you could be there all day.
Yeah,
Um, Tried them all, and I was unhappy. Sometimes I wasn't unhappy with the taste. Sometimes the taste was good, but
yeah,
then I would read the label and I'd be like, this is not good for you at all.
yeah,
So scrap that. Then I'd find stuff that was really healthy and I felt like had all the right ingredients. I'd be like, this does not taste good. This is like chalk in my mouth, or
yeah,
sawdust or whatever. I just couldn't find something that was all of the things I wanted. And it was when I was really studying more about nutrition and getting involved with all of that I was like, we've got to marry this. We've got to marry healthy and taste good together. And that's when we came up with the product of energy cubes. And we actually started out making them as cubes, like true, like ice
oh,
cube size
yeah.
things. You know what? Your mouth does not want to bite tall. It doesn't. And so we
Yeah,
were trying, like, we were all tasting, like, these are kind of tall. And
yeah,
so we scrapped that, squished them down into more squares. They're still cubes because, they don't have to be perfectly cubed, but
yeah.
they are a cube. And so there's 3 portions in every single bar. And that's how I think we've raised the bar with
Yeah,
cubes.
no, yeah, no. You raised the bar with cubes, 100%. Does E3? I've always been intrigued. Does E3 stand for anything?
Yes, it does. So E3 stands for energy from 3 sources. And those sources are healthy protein, healthy fat, and healthy carbs. Your body requires a balanced macro approach, and too many things are going on some fad, whether they're eliminating all of the fat or whether they're adding all the fat and eliminating all the carbs. But your body really needs all 3. And so we decided to come at it with an approach of energy from 3 sources, and it's real food. There's no caffeine in them. And that gives your body what it actually needs on a long-term lifestyle level, instead of feeling like you have to just be eating it for a while and then you can't eat it anymore because your body's rejecting the fad diet that you're on. These are a long-term solution to your health and nutrition.
Yeah, so I
So
love that about these. They're very balanced macros, which makes it very, very nice. And really, do you find that you replace your meals with these? Are you pitching this as a meal replacement, or is this just a nice, hey, you're heading to the gym, you're going on a hike? Is it just kind of a nice, healthy snack? How do you generally posture these as you're talking to people about your energy cubes?
So it really depends on your personal caloric intake. So for
Okay.
most women, it ends up being a meal replacement. It's breakfast or it's lunch. But for a lot of men, it tends to be something that they're using in between meals to kind of tide them over. It
Yeah.
runs between 270 and 290 calories. And for a lot of women, they're looking for about 300 calories in a meal replacement. And then they're usually eating, 4 to 6 meals in a day, smaller meals. And so it really depends on how you are approaching your meals. For me, it's usually a meal replacement.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. That's one thing I have noticed as I've been eating them. They're a hefty snack. Like it will either, like you said, carry you If you have like the mid-afternoon munchies, it will definitely carry you through from lunch to dinner. But I could definitely see if you're on the go in the morning, you need a quick something, like this would definitely hold you over until lunchtime. No
Oh,
problem.
absolutely.
Yeah, no problem. One thing that I love about the brand is you taking great care with so many allergens that are out there right now. You're taking great care to try to make these as clean as possible. For
Right. So
those who don't
the
know, like these,
allergens we do have are nuts, which
yeah,
if you have a nut allergy, just skip us. We're not that bar.
yeah,
And we also have eggs. So those are the two allergens that are very present for us. But we've eliminated dairy, soy, gluten. We don't have any kind of grains at all in our product, and so and nothing that's like a filler. A
yeah,
lot of people put oats in their protein bars because they're cheap and they're a really nice filler. But oats turn to sugar in your body quickly, and so they're just not a good source of fuel long term. The other thing that helps you feel fuller, because you mentioned that, and I was thinking, have you ever eaten a protein bar and it sat like heavy in your gut, and you're
yeah,
like, wow, I just felt like I ate a brick. These don't do
yes.
that, but they do keep you full because they have half your daily fiber in one protein bar, which is unheard of in a protein bar right now.
That is crazy. Talk to us about, because there are going to be a lot of people who gravitate towards even alone, just like the gluten-free aspect or the dairy-free aspect. They're going to be drawn towards that. But talk to us about, because Jimmy just doesn't know, right? Jimmy's out of control on this. Talk to us about the importance of fiber being in an energy bar, like in your energy cubes.
Okay, so this is such an overlooked thing in the American diet. Fiber has been stripped from most of our food, and the reason we need fiber is especially a prebiotic fiber like E3 has. A prebiotic fiber feeds your probiotics because if your probiotics don't have anything to eat, they die, and then your gut microbiome's completely off. And believe it or not, eating E3 could maybe make you happier because 90% of your serotonin is created in your gut. And so when your gut is off, you literally can be off in the head. So it's really important to feed your gut a good probiotic if you need one,
Yeah.
and a good prebiotic to feed the probiotics. And that gives you a healthy gut microbiome, which will in turn help everything else in your body work well. So fiber is vitally important. It helps you stay fuller longer. It helps your insulin levels not spike crazy. There are some sugars in our bars. Most of that is from the fruit that's
Yeah.
naturally occurring, the naturally occurring sugars in fruit, but it's okay, especially if you have fiber, because that stops the insulins from spiking.
Yeah, I love that. I don't know if you guys picked up on this, and I know that you can't say it because of like FDA reasons, but guys, if basically what she said is if you do E3 energy bars, you're going to be happier.
Well, you
Like
might be. I could say you
yeah,
might
no,
be.
you can say you might be. I'm going to say you
It
are
may
happier. The
make you
intentional listeners
happier.
are good for you. I'm under no FDA compliance rules here, Jacqueline. You just sit there and smile and don't say anything back. But guys, these are 100% delicious, and they do help you feel fuller longer. There is that good fiber that's going to be in your body that's super important. And listen, like if you're at work and you need to feel better about life, yeah, you should maybe investigate an E3 energy bar.
So a quick question for you, Jacqueline, too, because a lot of the times you hear with the protein bars or like food in general, like it's with real food, real ingredients, but that can be a plethora of things, like maybe one thing's real and the other thing's fillers. So what's determined to be like real ingredients?
Okay, so you can read the label and read it. I mean, everything's just food. If there's nothing in there there's no maltodextrin or sucralose or allulose, or, none of that's in there. That is all food. It is vegetables, fruits, nuts, and egg white protein, cassava root syrup. That's what our fiber comes from, a lot of it. And cassava root is a lot of people call it tapioca root. But
Okay.
this organic fiber source is so good for your body, and it's just all food. There's nothing in there that's not food.
So so if somebody were to, they're not eating their daily fiber, whatever it might be, is this something like, okay, start off small to see how that body's going to react and then add in more to it? Or is it pretty good? Or it's like, hey, if you want to eat a whole whole
You'll be
bar at one
fine.
time? Not
You'll be
bar,
totally
three
fine. It's
cubes.
not going to cause you to have to run to the bathroom, but
All
it is
right.
going to help you stay more regular. We've even had so runners often have a hard time with fiber or with changing things in their food intake right before they do a marathon or a big run. And we often sponsor a lot of races, and we've had runners come to us and say, "I ate one the night before and I felt so good. I don't normally eat anything when I'm getting ready for a run the next day, but I ate one anyway just to try it. And I felt fantastic the whole race." They said it was the best race they'd ever had. And normally runners are really afraid of something like that because of what it might do to their body. But it's not a problem. It's not like it's going to create a problem in your system. I think you'll find that it balances you out either direction you need to go.
I was thinking it
Yeah.
might speed up race time because they then they got to run to the bathroom. They're like, I just got to finish this race as fast as I can.
No, well, maybe I don't know, but no, that wasn't the case. They did
So,
great. So yeah,
so this is the orange cranberry that I'm holding up just for
that
fun,
one's my
guys. I flipped the
favorite.
label. Oh, it's so good. I flipped the label over, and let me tell you, like, my eyes are getting old, so I have to like do that thing where I do this. I'm trying to
Right,
look
where you go like
at.
one of these.
But guys, I'm picking out things in every single word I can read. We have organic cashews, organic coconut flakes, organic chia seeds, dried blueberries. Like none of this stuff am I struggling to read, and it is so refreshing to have something that you're putting in your body that you know exactly what it is.
And that's my favorite flavor. I always tell people it tastes like Christmas in your mouth.
It does.
But it's because we have essential oil in it. There's orange essential oil, and it just makes your mouth feel fresh and awake. It's so different than any other protein bar on the market.
Yeah, I agree. Jacqueline, you have a variety of flavors. I've got three here because that's what was at my local Walmart. If you guys head over to the website, if you head over to e3energycubes.com, you're going to see the variety of flavors that they have. Talk to me about the challenge of getting a new flavor up and going. How intense is that? How long does that take? Talk to us about that innovation that you have to go through when you're making new products.
So we started out with four flavors. We had peanut butter and chocolate, almond cherry, lemon blueberry, and orange cranberry. And those were our first four flavors. And then I had somebody come to me and say, "You really need to do peanut butter and jam." And I was like, I don't know how. And so I kind of went back to the drawing board and I started testing and trying some different things. And I think we tried 7 or 8 iterations, like really intensely changing different things about it till we got it perfect. And once we got it right, it was like winner.
Yeah.
Everybody was happy. We had people all over the place trying it. And here's something I want to tell you guys about that specific flavor, peanut butter and jam. People freak out if they see a natural flavor. And I understand why. Natural flavors can just about be anything
Yeah.
that the FDA determines is natural. But you have to find a company that you totally know is going to do the right thing. So when we got our natural flavor, and we do have strawberries in it, there's tons of strawberries in it, but we added a little bit of natural strawberry flavoring, but we made sure there was no propylene glycol in it. We made sure there was no sugar alcohols in it. We made sure that the company that we went to was using a plant-based only natural ingredients, and I know what they are, and it's proprietary to that company. But I made sure it fit what we wanted to have in our product so that it was clean.
Yeah. I love that. So you get the product, you nail the recipe. How do you then go to scale with that? Because I imagine at this point in the ball game, you're kind of onesie twosies, just trying to like dial in flavors. How do you then take it and say, okay, we're ready to mass produce this flavor?
So it's just money. Everything's money. In the entrepreneurial
Everything's
world,
money.
it's just money. I mean, you decide, okay, well, I think this is going to be a good flavor. So you go buy tons of boxes and you go buy tons of film, and it's a big output of money right up front. I mean, there's all the design work that Jameson did going into all of it, where she was designing the packaging and we're figuring out the nutrition label, and then we're getting the boxes designed. And I mean, it just takes a ton of effort to get all of that done. And then you just send it to a store and say, "Hey, we have a new flavor. Would you like to carry this one too?" And a lot of times they'll say yes. Right now, our top flavor is peanut butter and chocolate. Our number 2 is lemon blueberry. And number 3 is peanut butter and jam.
Nice. It's on the come up.
Yep. Yep.
I love that. That's one of those things that I'm so fascinated with because we haven't talked to anybody in the energy bar space yet. And so oh, go ahead.
I would say the CPG space or just the protein bar space.
Well, really any of it. Like, yeah, like from
Yeah.
the health space, health side of things, you're one of the first. And so I love the fact that you can get on, that you get to talk intelligently about the ingredients that are on there and help other people understand the importance of clean ingredients, scaling a company appropriately. As you scale appropriately, like you mentioned a second ago, you had to go to a vendor and find very organic, very pure products. How do
Yes.
you vet the people who are giving you products?
So what we do is, so every company that gives you raw ingredients has to give you what they call a spec sheet. And that spec sheet shows you that they've done the testing necessary to make sure there's nothing bad in the product. There's no metal, there's no salmonella, whatever it is. They do this testing all the time on their products. So that's the first vet. And then the second vet is I get a nutrition panel on it, and then I also ask them what certifications they carry. So they have to carry a non-GMO certification. If there's any chance of gluten being in the product, it has to be from a gluten-free facility and it has to be gluten-free certified. So all of those things matter when we're vetting a vendor. You find out real quick who the vendors are you don't want to work with. And we also even have to vet the country that the product is coming from. If we want to work with certain people in America, there are certain countries that they do not want to see product coming from as far as ingredients go. And so we have to say, I know you're an American company, but you're sourcing that from a specific country and I can't take it. And so we have to find a different company to source from.
Yeah, how frustrating is that when any given part of that supply chain can break down for you guys? I know, for example, when Jameson was working with you, she was talking about an egg shortage that was happening. How
Oh,
detrimental
that's
is that to your business?
it's so hard. In 2021, there was an avian bird flu that they killed over, I want to say like 36 million chickens in
Wow.
America. And my supplier had 6 million birds. And one of his birds in one of his barns, he had 9 barns, one of his birds in one of his barns tested positive, and the USDA made them kill all of the birds. It
Are
was
you
insane.
kidding me?
No, I'm not. I mean, it's like madness. And so they have to completely start over. So there's no egg white protein to get. And I had to end up finding a different supplier. So my egg white protein pricing went from $5.50 a pound, if you can believe this number, to $26 a pound.
Oh my gosh.
And I can't make my protein bars at that price. Like I can't. It's
Yeah.
it's an I mean, you'd pay $15 for a protein bar. It would be impossible. So I kind of waited things out. I used the supply that I had, and I started seeing the prices come down. As soon as I could get a price that was sort of decent, I bought a bunch. And then I waited, and then they came down again, and then I bought more. But I'm still way higher than I was when I originally started this.
Is there
So
is
I've
there
had
any
to
sort
deal
of
with that.
is there any way to safeguard against that happening? I mean, I know that there's freak things that happen. Is there any way to safeguard against that?
Um, no, not really. I mean, you could, if you're big enough, and I'm not quite big enough to do this yet, but if you're big enough, you can sometimes contract with a company and tell them, I need this much supply for the next year, and lock in your
Okay.
pricing. You have to be doing truckloads of it to do that, and I'm not quite there yet. I mean, I buy things by the pallet all the time, but I'm
Yeah.
not buying truckloads of
Right.
anything yet.
Is that where it's good to know different suppliers too? So when you're in a
Yes.
situation like this, you can call them up.
Yes, I have usually 2 or 3 suppliers deep for almost every ingredient I have. And crazy as this sounds, and it sounds crazy when I say it out loud, but I have 36 ingredients across my 5 flavors.
Wow.
So I have a lot of sourcing that I have to go through often. And I'm always repricing things and trying to find a little bit better source. And I don't want to say I beat up my suppliers because I don't feel like I do that, but I have to tell my supplier, I can get this a lot cheaper from this other guy. Can you meet that? And sometimes they will, sometimes they can't.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone to another place and been like, all right, it wasn't as good as I thought it would be, until you kind of go back to the other supplier and be like, hey, it's not always greener on the other side. I made a mistake. Take me back.
Haven't had that happen yet, but I've been with a bunch of my suppliers almost the same from the beginning. I have some really good suppliers, but my current egg source is not in the United States.
Interesting.
And I don't think the tariffs are going to really affect it much.
I
Um,
was just gonna ask that.
yeah, but I do have some things that I buy that tariffs are going to affect things hugely, and like one of the things that just most recently I found, and I actually found it for the same price I was paying before, was dates, and I was getting dates from like Dubai. And I found some California dates and I got them at a better price, well, about the same price, but I actually like them better. They're a little sweeter and they're a little softer than the ones I was getting from Dubai. So I was excited and we just made that switch just recently. And so I think we're going to see an even softer protein bar than we were in the past. So it's
Oh,
going
that's
to be fun.
fantastic. How do you go about finding? That's so intriguing. First of all, like sourcing dates out of Dubai, like crazy to me because I don't live in that industry. But then, how did you go about? How do you go about finding these vendors? How do you say, "Listen, Dubai's not working. I got to go to California." How did you find people in California?
So there are shows that people like me can go to, and one of them is called Supply Side. And
Okay.
there's a Supply Side East and a Supply Side West. And most ingredient sellers go to those shows and set up booths. And so somebody like me just walks the whole thing, and I'm like, I need this, I need this, I need this, and I'll go to every single booth and find the ingredients that I'm looking for from that booth, and take it home and do some comparisons. Sometimes I ask for samples, make the comparison, check the nutrition, check all of like I was talking about before, checking all of their certifications and making sure that it's clean and being handled the right way.
When you walk a show like that, do you have kind of a set list of questions that you like ask each vendor, or does it really vary kind of from vendor to vendor?
Um, yeah, I mean, there's definitely some that I'll go past. Well, as a matter of fact, I had somebody reach out to me for cacao powder here in Utah who was just starting up a company, and I wanted to help him out. But then I bought some stuff from him, but it ended up that he's not ready. And
Oh,
and I hate to say it that way, but like he doesn't understand that just knowing people from where you went on your mission and bringing stuff in from there and up from another country, it doesn't quite cut it.
yeah.
They've got to get all of those certifications correct. They've got to have all of that testing done, or nobody like me is going to touch it.
Yeah.
You'll buy a little bit to do some testing with, but that's it. You can't buy in scale from them until they've got all those ducks in a row. And that's something that's just hard for anybody to know. Like all of this stuff is I learned on the job. I mean, I learned things I didn't even think I wanted to know about brands. And I mean, it's just like I feel like I was back in college learning
Yeah.
a million acronyms and learning things that I didn't even know existed in the CPG world. And I would have to say that now I feel extremely schooled, and I feel good about what I've had to learn and how we've had to grow the company that way.
But I mean, go back to that person you had to say no to. I mean, that's one of the first steps to being an entrepreneur is, realizing, okay, you have a good idea. They brought it to you, but you also gave them the reality truth, like, hey, if you want to get somewhere, you got to
Yeah.
go through A, B, and Z. So in the long run, you
Hmm.
really save this individual, if he wants to put the work in it, a lot of
Sure.
time, and hopefully make a good business out of it.
Well, and I did tell him that. I said, if you ever have questions, I'm happy to help you. And I really am happy to help anybody who is going through this entrepreneurial journey with the CPG brand. There are little tricks and things that I learned along the way that I had to learn the hard way. Nobody should have to learn it that hard. I'd read a million, well, not a million. Okay, I read a lot of books on business. I mean, I've read Good to Great. I've read The E-Myth
Yeah.
Revisited. I've read um, what's the other one? Atomic Habits. In fact, that's one of my very favorite books.
It's a good book.
And understanding that it's your systems that you rise to, not your goals. You fall to the level of your systems is so important to realize, because he didn't have some systems in place. His goals were fantastic, but if the systems aren't in place so that he can grow, he'll stay there. And that's just important for everybody to know. It's important for me to know. I've continued to have to create systems, and Jameson's actually really good at helping us create systems that are learnable and trackable inside the company, so that we have, more accountability.
Yeah, I love that. So I'm going to say, speaking of systems, because for me, marketing is just as a system. You can win a lot with having great systems inside marketing. Tell me what you guys are doing from a marketing standpoint to continue to grow E3, because it is a competitive market. And I follow you guys on social, so I see you out. I see a lot of grassroots things from you guys. You're at, like you said earlier, like running events, and I think you have a show coming up this weekend.
Tomorrow, yeah. We'll be
Yeah,
at Be
like you
Healthy
guys.
Utah tomorrow.
Yeah, talk to me about your marketing strategies and how you're growing E3.
So a lot of it is that, boots on the ground, doing races or health fairs like this Be Healthy Utah tomorrow. We do the Gluten-Free World Expo here in Utah also. We're doing FitCon this year. And then there's a FitCon Texas. I mean, there's all sorts of different events you can go to. It can be very expensive, so you have to be careful about that. But the biggest thing with any CPG brand is getting it into people's mouths. Once
Yes.
people taste this product, some companies have really good marketing, and I swear they could put a sticker on that box. What's that show? Sticker on that box of bleep, and
Yeah.
they could sell it. So, if that's the case, it'll only sell once.
Yeah.
But if you can get it in people's mouths and they become a true fan of your product, it will sell over and over and over and over again. And that's really our goal, is get it in people's mouths, get them talking about it, get people saying to their friends, oh my gosh, this does not taste like a protein bar at all. It's got a smooth texture. It doesn't sit heavy on your stomach. I don't get gas. We kind of have this stop farting campaign we've been doing lately. And it's really because we don't have any dairy or sugar alcohols. And those two things cause massive gut problems for people, bloat and gas. And not having whey protein in it is huge.
Yeah, agreed. Talk to us a little bit about just some of the terminology. You keep saying CPG. There's certainly going to be
Okay.
people who are watching or listening. What is it? What is CPG?
It's a consumer, what does it mean? Now I'm thinking,
Consumer
what does it mean?
packaged good?
Consumer packaged goods, that's it. And a lot of people call that, it's just called a CPG brand. It's kind of anything really that you're buying at a grocery store is a
Yeah.
CPG brand. It's a consumer packaged good.
Yeah, and there's a lot of components to that that people don't realize. So I, as a director of marketing for a local company here, we are also in I'm going to call it the anti-aging space, and
Hmm.
we have to do a lot of packaging and a lot of CPG stuff, and it's very interesting as you start to look and say, okay, we have to be. I'm just going to throw this out there for anybody who's interested, right? In saying, hey, I want to make a protein powder, I want to make an energy bar, or I want to do something. There's a
Yeah,
lot more than just making it. Like
right.
you're going to be jumping through a lot of hoops to get things taken care of.
Right. You better make sure you've got your UPC codes from the right place. You better make sure that
Yes.
all of your labeling is correct, that the size of your font that tells you, how many grams it is the correct size. I mean, there's little things like that that nobody thinks about. And then all of a sudden they're in a state that really, cracks down that regulation, and they're fined or their products kicked out of the state. I mean, it's insane. You have to be a lot of times EDI compliant. Don't ask me what that means, because I don't even know. I think it's electronic data
Information.
yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Sounds
But
good to me.
it's a way that a grocery store or a distributor creates the order and speaks to you, and you speak
Yeah.
back that you're going to deliver it, and when it's going to get there, and now here's your invoice. I mean, it's just a way. It's just called an electronic data information, I guess, or something like that. I thought it was exchange, but anyway. But EDI, being EDI capable, is a big thing, and people start saying things like that to a new entrepreneur that's in this space, and they're like, "What? I
Yeah.
don't even know what you're talking about." And then so right then the store's like, "You're not ready." Like
Yeah.
it happens. They're cut off before they even begin.
Yeah, before you even get your foot in the door. You guys recently went through, I'm going to say recently within the last, I don't know, maybe a year or so, went through a rebrand of your packaging. Did
We
you,
did.
was some of these concepts in mind as you were rebranding? Were you saying, oh, we have to make sure we're EDI compliant. We have to make sure that like fonts and UPCs, or you just said, hey, listen, we need a refresh to stand out. What was the catalyst for your refresh?
So it's kind of sad to tell this story a little bit, but our products on our website are still black, and we still send a lot of that black packaging to our online orders. But all of our stores get the colored packaging. The reason, all of those refrigerated sets have black backgrounds. Our bar just disappeared in the refrigerator. Black looks great on a white shelf,
Yes.
not in a refrigerated space that's painted black. And
Yeah.
so sadly, we learned the super hard way. Our product wasn't moving like we thought it should be. And we're like, what's wrong? And Jameson said to me, I think we need to change the packaging. I'm like, I really like the black. The black looks cool. It does. It looks super
It is
sharp.
sleek. Yeah.
It's awesome. And I kept hesitating and hesitating. And then one day she took a picture of our bars at a store, and then she superimposed the colored bars that she wanted to do into that package, and she showed them to me side by side, and I went, well, there's the answer.
Yeah.
I was like so sad that it took me so long to realize we have to change our packaging. So that was actually the reason. But we're going through another rebrand, and I think you'll see it early 2026, I'm
Okay.
thinking. And part of that has to do with our logo. Our logo is a little bit hard for people to understand. That's an E and a 3, the
Yeah.
lines. And so they don't read it. They're like, what's this brand? What is this brand? And so we're going to be doing a little bit of rebranding around our logo so that it's very easy to tell it's an E and a 3. And we're really excited. We've already got it all. All the concepts are already all done. And Jameson's going to be getting busy on doing a lot of that rebranding for us throughout the remainder of 2025, and we'll be ready to probably launch that in 2026.
I love that. And I know Jimmy has a question. I'll throw to him in just a second, but just to follow up, because that's a really intriguing concept. As an entrepreneur, I think so many of us have this product that we envision as our baby. And then we're like, oh, I don't want to change anything. I don't want to do anything. Like, we're going to ruin it. The sheer fact that you're able to look at it and say, look at the proof, the analytics, and say, oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh, it is black on black. We can't see it. We got to change it. And then to hear advice saying like E3 is great, but you look at it and people don't know what it is. And so you're listening to your consumer all of the time. And that is such an important part of the feedback cycle, is to say, okay, this part is working, this part is not, we need to adjust it. And those who can adjust it quickly are the ones that are always going to win, right? You
That
follow
is
the
true.
analytics, you follow the data and see what it tells you. And become, I like to say that I'm data agnostic, right? Like I try not to get too particularly hung up on anything, because I want to know what the people want, because that's the end consumer, that's your end user. And if it's not resonating with them, it's never gonna work.
Well, I think the other thing that's really interesting is we're small, and it takes me a lot longer. I mean, you'd think it'd be easier to shift, but it's not that easy because I don't have the funds to just shift all of a sudden.
Yeah, it takes a lot
Um,
of money.
but we get copied a lot, and I've learned to have a thick skin about that, and really be like, um, imitation is the greatest form of flattery.
That's what they
And
say.
so I've just tried to remember that, and realize that we've come out with some amazing flavors, and we've had
Yep.
people try to copy us a ton, and it's okay.
Yep. Yeah, it is okay, because you're endearing people to your
Yeah,
brand, and ultimately you'll win, right? Jimmy,
right.
you had a question for her.
Yeah, just had, hopefully you can answer this because you talk about how you need to rebrand, like with the logo, the color. How do you know where that fine line is? Because you have many different flavors. So how do you know if it's like, okay, we need to rebrand because of the flavors, we need to rebrand because of the logo, we need to rebrand because of the color? Do you kind of take data on that? Be like, okay, we're losing money here, but gaining money here. How do you assess on what to do and when to do that
So
change?
that's a good question. So recently we did, it was kind of fun. We did some surveys online, and we offered people, and like an Amazon gift card to participate and to do the whole survey all the way through. And so We didn't cost us a ton of money, but we did definitely get some good feedback. We had a great questionnaire that went out to ask people what they were looking for, had they ever heard of our brand, on and on and on. And we got a lot of good feedback. We've done 3 of those so far. And that it's not the taste for sure. We win on taste every time. So I'm not worried about the flavors at all. I think we could come out with more. I've got a ton in my head. I can't wait to do them. I just have to have some money to do that. And so, I think it's definitely not the flavors, but the packaging was such an obvious problem. And what was cool about that is we have somebody who, and I'm not going to put his name on here because he's one of our investors, but let me just say this. He worked for a really big drink company here in Utah, and then he just got moved to a really big national brand, and he knows branding. He understands what people are looking for, and we took all of our color ideas to him, and he was like, yes, yes, no, no, yes, yes. And he gave us the big sign off on a lot of the rebranding as far as the colors go.
I love having a powerful mentor, say yes, an investor, but also a mentor in your corner
Oh,
to be able to
yes.
give that knowledge. I have found that you can go further faster with mentors. And I love that. And a lot of companies, especially bigger companies, will call them board of advisors, right? If you want to sound fancy
Yeah.
about it. But make no mistake, they're mentors. They're somebody who wants to help your business succeed. And I love that
Yeah.
about you, Jacqueline. You've said that a couple of times. Hey, listen, if somebody's breaking into the industry and I can help you and erase some of these mistakes for you, please ping me, because that's
Yeah.
part of the community of entrepreneurs, is like we just naturally want to give back, and I love that part to help you raise things. I have just a couple more questions if it's okay. I know we've
Sure.
been going for a minute, but
Absolutely. You're
a
good.
couple more that I have for you. What was one of your favorite breakthrough moments for E3? What was one of the things where you said, yes, that was a benchmark I was looking to get to?
I think getting the biggest check we ever got was from Circle K.
Yeah,
And we got a check for 72,000
I
from
love
Circle
that.
K, and that was awesome. We opened the Grand Canyon area with 3 flavors, and their initial order was massive. And of course, initial orders are always the biggest because they have to fill every single store with every single flavor. But once that happens, then they come down to like a normal ordering level, and it's just kind of, as often as they do it. But that was a really, really cool day to get
That
that
is
to get
really
that
cool.
check. Yeah.
I love that.
And I think that the next breakthrough, I mean, there's so many little ones along the way. I can't really say there's one, but actually opening up our new facility was a really big deal because now I have the room for 20 pallets of freezer space
Yeah.
in my facility, and that feels awesome.
So yeah, you're now looking at saying we can scale appropriately, and
We
this is
can.
step one for us to be able to scale appropriately, and I love that for you. Um, when you think about marketing, or you think about dream collaborations or dream celebrities, or do you have somebody you're like, man, I really want to get the attention of so and so to start pushing these bars?
Okay, this is going to sound a little controversial, but man, if I could get Robert F. Kennedy on here, I would love it because
Okay.
I actually think what he's doing with making America healthy again, I don't think that should be a political thing at all. That should just be on the minds of everybody
Yeah.
who wants to eat healthy. We need to get the garbage out of our food. We've been talking about, not having artificial colors, not having artificial flavors. Those things just seem like, and I know it's become a political thing. It's really not. We should all want our food to be healthy, all of
Yeah.
us. I think it'd be fun to have somebody that's, in such a high position, in government take notice of a tiny little company that's trying to do it right.
Yeah, listen, RFK Jr., like, we'll tag him. Like, we need your help. Like, you got to get these bars out to America, make America healthy again. Can I say that? I don't know if I can say that, but let's
I
make
don't know.
America healthy again. There is so much junk. So today, just as a small sample size, today we had a work retreat, or not a retreat, an outing for lunch, right? We had like a quarterly outing, and we went to a local. I don't know if I can say the name, but we went to a local restaurant, and I called my wife afterwards, and I was like, I just feel so gross. Like, it's just like I had like a burger and some fries, and maybe not, arguably not the most healthy thing, but even still, that sat so heavy, and I just recognized I didn't feel good.
Right.
There's so much filler, and matter of fact, I looked at one of these hamburgers, and it had like the hamburger and bacon and ham, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I literally was like, I can't. There's just too much meat on one thing. It's not
And
healthy.
that's great if you're on a keto diet and you wrapped it in
Sure.
lettuce, but if you're,
Yeah.
it just depends on what else is in it and how much you ate. I mean, there's so many factors that go into that. I don't think meat's bad for you. I think meat's great, but it's got to be a certain kind of meat. We really need to get to grass-fed beef. Like
Yeah.
one of the things that we have in our bar that we just added this year or last year was grass-fed collagen protein.
Oh
And
yeah.
that is fantastic. So we've got the egg white protein and the grass-fed collagen protein in our bar. And the egg white protein helps your muscles, and the grass-fed collagen helps your joints and your hair and your skin. And so it's just good. It's just good for your body. You need a variety of different kinds of proteins.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I have just a couple more questions.
Sure.
What advice would you give to entrepreneurs looking to break into the health or snack food space? Besides, maybe don't.
Yeah, maybe don't. That might be a real true thing to say. So, and I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me when I say this because this was the bet I made, but we're into this, my husband and I, over $1 million right now.
Yeah,
And I still don't get a paycheck. And I'm hoping I will someday. But it's really not about the money for us. It's about really, doing something that we really believe in and creating something new that we can really push out and that hopefully becomes a business that thrives for our family. But I would say if you don't have good capital, don't do it. Or make sure you have a really strong path to how you're going to break into the market and where you're going to get your capital when you need it, because you do need capital
yeah.
to be playing in the fitness world.
Yeah. No, there are some big names out there, and to break in, you're right. Like you need to have some sort of unique sales proposition. You need something that's going to set you apart. You need to have that capital, and then really a game plan. You have to execute. And I've helped a number of smaller entrepreneurs, and it always comes down to the amount of hustle they're willing, the grind they're willing to put in. Because yeah, sometimes you don't want to work like 18-hour days, but you have to.
You
Like you don't
do,
want to
yeah.
be on your feet at a trade show all day handing out samples, trying to make connections, trying to do all these things, but you have to. Right, that's part of the game
Right.
that you're in.
Well, and you have to gather people around you that are willing to do whatever it takes. It's like, oh, you're
Yes.
wearing janitor hat today? Okay. Oh, you're wearing the marketing hat. Oh, you're wearing the delivery hat. It doesn't matter. You just do whatever because it has to be done. And
Yep.
I've done all of it. I've made the bars myself. I've washed the dishes. I've mopped the floor. I've cleaned the toilet. Not at the same time, but you know what I
I was
mean.
just gonna. You beat me to it.
Yeah. So it's just important you be able to just put on a different hat that day and figure out how to do it because
Yeah.
that's all that you can do. That's all you can do. I mean, I've done a lot of different things in my life. Um, I don't know if you knew this, but I've run for Congress. I've been a motivational speaker. I think you knew that. Um, and I've done accounting. I've done so many different kinds of jobs, but this one is the one I've really pretty much given my life to.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. In closing, for me, this is my last and favorite question. Is there a dirty little secret inside your industry that people don't usually talk about?
In the CPG space or in the protein bar world?
Either or both.
So a dirty little secret, like things that are not good.
Yeah, so one of my favorite examples is we had a chiropractor on. He's like, people will frequently fart in my office when they're being adjusted. Is it just something that happens that like is in the CPG world or in the protein bar world? People just kind of sweep it under the rug and like don't talk about it.
I don't know. I've heard a lot of things from people that come to my facility that say, "Wow, this is a really, really clean facility. You should see what I see when I go check facilities." And I'm like, what do you see? So I don't know. I think there are some things that are getting swept under the rug, not at my place, but I do hear it often. Like we get inspectors. They just show up randomly. They show up and we never know they're coming. And they're with the FDA or
Yeah.
the USDA inspectors or whatever. And we get the same thing from almost all of them. Wow, this is a really clean facility. And I'm like, what do other people's look like? I think, aren't they all doing food? And that kind of
Yes.
scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, okay, this is a dirty secret that I think is true. And I don't know, I don't know, but there's a certain amount of hair, there's a certain amount of like rat poop and stuff that's allowable in food.
Yes, I've heard
And it
that.
kind of makes me sick. And I'm
Yeah.
like, who whose facility is that? I want to know.
Yeah.
But, it's not mine, so.
What
Okay.
about if it's grass-fed mouse poop or grass-fed?
Maybe
Still
then
no,
it's
Jimmy.
okay. It's just a protein. It's just a protein
Yeah.
source, right?
So, guys, listen, clean energy, clean facilities. You can't go wrong with E3. Jacqueline,
Yep.
thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Jacqueline and Jameson were cool enough to give our listeners a coupon code. Go to their website, www.e3energycubes.com. Put in the code open source. You'll save 15%, and you'll be getting amazing tasting bars, an amazing product that you'll be hooked on for the remainder of your days and will be your
You
go-to
will.
snack for all things energy.
Thank
Hey,
you.
before we go, Jimmy, Jacqueline, I don't know if you know this, but Jimmy actually owns a massive counseling center all up and down the Wasatch Front,
Oh, I
Deseret
didn't know
Counseling,
that.
and we always end our podcast the same way. Jimmy gives us a mental health moment to make sure we leave our listeners feeling better than when they came.
Well, and
So
mental
this,
health is May 1st, Mental Health Month.
Yep,
yes, it is. And this is just a simple, what you feed your body fuels your mind. So nourish both of them to thrive. So if you're eating healthy, taking care of your body, mentally, you feel a lot better.
love it. Love it. Everybody, take care of your bodies. Take
Amen.
care of yourselves. Jacqueline, thank you for being with us. We appreciate you. Congratulations on your success. And we are anticipating massive hockey stick growth for Energy Cubes, and we are stoked to be like a small part of it. So thank you so much for being with us. Everybody have a good
Thank
night.
you. Appreciate it.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.